I'm Matt Valley. Welcome to episode number 115 of the Rock and Roll Research Podcast, where we share the super cool backstories and side gigs of the research and insights pros that you trust. Hey, speaking of research pros that I trust, I'm joined today by my colleague at MarketVision, London Brinkman. Welcome to the show, London.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited to have you. So let me tell you a little something about London. London has been with MarketVision since 2023. She is a qualitative market research analyst and a darn good one. I know that firsthand. Why? Because a couple weeks ago, we worked together on a project, a really cool study in the ice cream category in person in Cincinnati. We spent all day together behind the glass, watching focus groups and all that good stuff. And I learned some really cool things about London along the way, like she is the vocalist for this big cover band in Cincinnati, playing weddings and all kinds of stuff. She's also a bodybuilder, which is really cool. But I can also tell you that she writes one heck of a good qualitative report. So
Great.
super cool. Client was super happy, was able to make a decision very quickly based on what we learned. So super cool stuff. So welcome to the podcast, London.
Thank you so much. Wow, what an awesome introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, it isn't every day you meet somebody as cool as you. I mean, come on, London. All right. Now, before we get into this, I have a special announcement, something a little bit different today, which is to announce that I've been using this product called Magic Mind. If you're seeing it on video, you can see it right here. Perhaps you've heard of it. This is a mental performance shot. So let me tell you a quick story about this. So a couple months ago, I was at the doctor. I have this condition. I'll spare you the details, but one of the things that it causes is fatigue, specifically mental fatigue, and it's kind of a drag. And so my doctor had recommended that I take these natural supplements, things like ashwagandha, I think it's called, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Right around the same time, this company called Magic Mind had reached out to me. They were interested in potentially sponsoring the podcast, which is cool. I read the ingredients of this thing, and it was all the stuff that my doctor was recommending. So I'm like, okay, this is perhaps intriguing. So this is a mental performance shot. I've been taking it for 3 days. I started before my gig on Friday night with my band called Pretty. Went really well. So far, so good. So I'm taking this shot. If you're interested in checking it out, you can go to www.magicmind.com/rockandroll, ROCKN roll, and using the code rockandroll20 for a really nice discount, 48% off of a subscription or 20% off of a one-time purchase. So do me a solid and check it out. So far, so good for me. So I'm going to be using this. So just before we get started, London, I'm going to go down the hatch.
Perfect.
All right, ready to roll.
Oh, perfect.
Excellent. Okay, let's get into it, London. So you have been out of school since 2023, just a little over a year, I guess.
Pretty much to this date, a year, which is wild.
Yeah, super cool. So why market research? How did you find this space?
Okay. So my journey, at least what I feel like would be relevant to this question, before I was a major in marketing and communications, I was actually a musical theater major. So I started school as a freshman in musical theater, but a little bit prior to that, actually a lot prior to that, I had worked, from middle school all the way up to high school, which led into college on a thing called musical theater. And, for me, that's the live performing arts. So that's dancing, singing, acting all at once. And it's amazing. It's my passion, truly. But leading up to college, I kind of spent every single day in some capacity doing something related to musical theater or the arts. That was online voice lessons, in-person lessons, dance, private acting lessons, anything that I had access to or I could get my hands on, I was doing it. So that pretty much prepped me all the way up to college. I did 16 individual auditions for different schools, won 6. It It was
Ah,
insane, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world. Because even in that crazy senior year audition season, it gave me so many unique skills that I still see applicable to my life. So I
sure.
did the whole thing. I did a year in at Belmont in Nashville, Tennessee. That was the school that I ended up deciding on going to.
Cool.
And then after, we always hear it, like COVID changed a lot for everyone. So
Yeah.
for me, um, during that really awkward semester doing online school, let me just tell you, you cannot do musical theater online. Like
Oh, that's
any
awful.
school is so difficult, but imagine trying to sing live with an accompanist who's not even there online and try to do a voice lesson. It's pretty difficult.
That's
Um,
awful.
no, but we made it work, and Zoom, did play a part in that aspect as well. But then after that semester, and it kind of went into that summer after COVID started, I had a just kind of realization, a lot of different life things, but the majority or the main thing was my knee issues that I had since I was in seventh grade. They were pretty chronic, and they came back, and I kind of put myself into this like, okay, I have this passion for music. I've had it all planned out, but do I want to be in therapy for the rest of my career? As an 18-year-old, that's pretty daunting looking at your life and being like, oh my gosh, I'm going into such a competitive career and I might still be in therapy and barely making it. I just decided that it was time to switch gears, which is very
Sure.
sad at first because I had worked years and years and I had this plan and I'm all about a plan, but things rerouted and things changed. So change is okay, but at the time I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with all of this stuff that I'd
Yeah.
spent so much time on? Like I'm gonna miss it. So I took a gap semester to figure out what I wanted to do, and then I eventually ended up transferring to the University of Cincinnati, which is where I'm originally from, Cincinnati. So I
Yeah.
had dreams of leaving Cincinnati immediately, but here I was, transferring back. But Cincinnati's a great city, and UC is a phenomenal school. So I ended up graduating with like I said, major in communication and minor in marketing. But what really happened, which is ultimately what led me to Market Vision, was the career fair. I mean, it's not that, glamorous,
Yeah.
but I went
Yeah.
to the career fair. I was like, all right, you're just gonna go for it. And I was walking around with my backpack on. Didn't get the memo that you were supposed to check your backpack. So I had this huge backpack on, and I was just kind of looking around at all the companies, and I made eye contact with one of the human resources directors at Market Vision. And we just made this like really genuine, sweet eye contact that I was like, are you looking at me? I think I'm looking at you. I know it was very interesting, but I walked on over and I started talking, and I was started talking with them, super curious about who Market Vision what is and just what they do. And at the end of our conversation, I was like, I'm looking for, a career. I'm not just looking for a job. I'm looking for a way to express, my passions and really excel. And we talked more. What led to an in-person interview on campus led to an in-person interview in the office, and then I was offered a full-time position in October of my senior year of college.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got into research. It did present itself to me, and then simultaneously was learning a lot about it in my marketing courses in college. And then I kind of put the two and two together of like this qualitative kind of thing. It's talking with people and telling stories and getting people excited about things, and then storytelling what you find as well. I was like, all right, this is something I could get on board with. And this past year, I have just learned so much, and I can't wait for more.
Yeah. Oh, I love that story. I do some mentoring of students, and your story is exactly what everybody wants, right? So it's like I got hired before I graduated, man.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting for you.
Yes, yes, I feel very, very, very blessed. And I was able to do a little bit of work during my college, my last year of college with
Yeah.
Market Vision that really prepped me for going full time, straight away.
Yeah, well, you hit the ground running and you're already a pro. I can speak to that for sure. I've seen your work, so
Thank you.
but firsthand. Excellent. All right. At the same time, you've still been able to pursue your passion of singing. So Tell me about this band.
Yes, yes. So, oh gosh, it's so cool. It's so new, which is why it's extra special because this has been a great example of how you can fit your passions. If they're meant to stay in your life, they will. So this
Yeah.
opportunity, presented itself from a connection that I made at University of Cincinnati. So during college, I was in an a cappella group. So if you've
Okay.
ever seen Pitch
The
Perfect,
Vocaholics, the Vocaholics.
Vocaholics, yes, Vocaholics. So for anyone watching, if you've ever seen Pitch Perfect, it's literally like that, except a little less drama. I'm just kidding. No, there's a little less drama, but it's pretty much the same thing. We compete in the same competition they did in the movie. Anyway, so I found that at the org fair, and it was right off the bat after I transferred and kind of felt a little bit lonely and confused and just kind of weird because I was in a new school and all that. I auditioned and I joined, and I was a member for 1 year. It was so fun. Like lower stakes, lower pressure, but yet everyone still loved to sing. It was great. And
Yeah.
then my senior year, I became the director of the groups. I got to musically direct, which was a whole cool experience in itself.
Yeah.
And then what led me to eventually finding this band is the founder of the Vocaholics reached out to me because she's actually the founder, not the founder, but she has been a part of this band that I am in now called Reel to Reel. And she's been in this band since she was like 16.
Okay.
So she ended up reaching out to me over DM and was like, I have a question for you. And I was like, oh, okay. So we talked, and she eventually invited me to come to a rehearsal, a little sectional first, and then a full band rehearsal.
Yeah.
But she had already seen, a lot in me, I think, just to have the confidence to think that I could even take over a lead singer role
Yeah.
that was needing to be filled. And man, it just was the most fun rehearsal. I felt like I gelled with everyone right away, and that made the rehearsal super successful. But yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. So I play in a three-piece band, and it's hard enough to manage schedules for three people. How many people are in your band? I know it's pretty big.
It is. It's 12 now, 12
Oh,
piece. When you
wow.
add the horns in, because with the 70s and 80s rock, there's a lot of great horn and brass instrument parts.
Yeah.
We don't always practice with the horns, but coming up to those dress rehearsals and full
Sure.
bands, it gets up to 12. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, cool. And you're doing like weddings, and what kind of stuff do you play?
So they've done weddings in the past. We right now are doing just a lot of big stage gigs, and it's since
Yeah.
I am newer, I'm still like figuring out all types of concerts or events that they play at,
Sure.
that we play at. But the one we have coming up is on July 4th, and we are the headlining band leading up to the city's not Cincinnati, but Springboro. If you've
Okay.
ever heard of Springboro, so it's a
Yep.
Springboro 4th of July festival, and we're going to be outside on this huge stage leading up to the fireworks for like a 3 hour set. So it's
Wow.
two
Three
to three,
hours.
two to
That
three.
is,
So yeah.
yeah, that's pretty serious. That's fantastic. So what's your favorite song to belt out so far?
I would say it's got to be Heartbreaker by Kat Benatar.
Oh, yes, yes. Big
It
fan
is,
of
yes.
Benatar.
Yeah, I know she's so awesome. And honestly, like this type of singing with my musical theater and classical background that I have, that at first it was kind of hard to navigate this kind of raspier, yelly kind of belt
Yeah.
that is still healthy because you got to make it healthy, but it's just this different tone that I've never really tapped into, but we're learning, so it's great.
Yeah, that's cool. It's such a vocal forward song too, where the music stops and it's really just the vocals. Oh,
Yes.
so good. So
Yes.
good. Awesome. Cool. All right. So I have to touch on it too. I mean, the other thing surprised me is that you're actually a bodybuilder. And that's actually what people know you more for within market vision than singing. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, to answer that comment you just made about how everyone knows me as a bodybuilder, Market Vision, I do not blame them because for a good 6 months prep in general, the thing that I went through leading up to the show was kind of my whole identity. It was, everyone knew I was on a specific diet. Like they'd see my meals in the cafe. They would always ask me like, how many more days to the show? Anyway, so it did become a huge, huge part of my life. But I mean, what was your question again? So I don't go off on a
Yeah, just tell me about how you got interested in that.
yes, yes. So actually stemming back from that knee thing that I had,
Yeah.
I used, and I'm sorry if there's a little bit of background noise. I'm so
Nope,
sorry about
can't hear anything. Go for it.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I actually recovered from my knee issues using functional strength training. And so
Okay.
after physical therapy did not work, I tapped into a more holistic side of medicine coupled with functional strength training. And that really ultimately allowed me to gain the muscle that I needed to beat my knee issue, which was
Ah,
super cool. But I ended up getting a trainer certificate or a personal training license, which
mhm.
ultimately led me to work as a coach at a exercise studio nearby. And
Yeah,
then after I needed to give some more time back to just a nice life balance, I was trying to do it all in college and I just couldn't.
yeah,
Um, I was like, what's next? What is the next challenge? Like
yeah.
what can and I'm always up for a challenge. I am always up for testing myself to see how elite I can go, or like how not like putting myself through bad things, but just
Yeah,
hard things that like you have to choose every day because no one else is telling you but yourself. So I'm
sure.
all about that. And so prep, and specifically bodybuilding, but the prep that I went through taught me discipline. It taught
Yeah,
me instant gratification versus delayed gratification. So like
right.
that stuff, like I saw that through, and honestly, like it has changed my life. It has changed my life, and I now I had since won the show, and I qualified for.
Oh,
Oh
I
gosh,
didn't know that part.
I qualified. Thank you. I qualified for a national show, so I get to go to
Wow.
nationals and see if I, just see how far I can take it. It's such a cool thing though to learn how it applies in daily life because you can't prep forever. You can't be
Yeah,
in a calorie deficit forever. So how does bodybuilding live, throughout regular life? So I'm finding that balance now, and what some people might call as a diet, I just call it lifestyle. And I train every day, or I train 5 days a week, and then 2 rest days. And I, count my macros. But we're just here for the gains. But we're also here for balance, and we're here for sustainability. So
yeah. It's just so impressive. Like, it's so impressive. I'm looking at
thank
myself. I'm
you.
like, oh my God.
No, and I found so many thank you. No, I found so many ways that bodybuilding connects to market research, as I am a really reflective person internally.
Okay.
But just even thinking about this podcast, I'm like, there are so many lessons that apply from what I've learned in bodybuilding, that apply to your daily life and your job and what you put forth into the world. And
Sure.
it's cool because it correlates.
Yeah, yeah. Give me a couple examples.
Sure. So I think of as I've gone through my year in market research as a qualitative researcher, our clients are relying on quality work, and they're also relying on constant communication,
Hmm.
and they're relying on that promise to be met. And so there are days, not all the time, but there are days where we got to go above and beyond to stand out and to deliver exceptional work. And so just trusting the process and trusting the fact that I know that I am a relatively new researcher, but knowing that just like bodybuilding, marketing research in my journey is not linear. It's going to be up and then it might go down as I learn. But the
Yep.
most important thing is that it's always consistently going up. And so for bodybuilding, trusting the process, and not just trusting the process, because what happens after you've reached your goal that you've been thinking about, but embracing the journey. And
Yeah.
so just embracing the journey and knowing, always having that growth mindset, has I feel really made me successful in this past year.
Yeah, I love that. I can relate a bit because for most of my adult life, I've been a runner, not a fast one ever. But I know that when you're training, let's say for like a half marathon or a marathon or
Mhm.
something, all of a sudden you go out and you have a day and you just suck. right? And I used to just beat myself up over it, but I just realized it's part of the process. You're going to have up days, you're going to have down days. When it took a long time for me to get over that, but once I did, it was so much easier and better for me. It's like, it's okay. I got out here, it wasn't the best day.
Yes,
Tomorrow will be
yes,
better.
that's so good. And like just knowing that if you can make one choice a day that you're like, I did that. And then if you did a really hard thing, everything else just seems manageable. And so, yes, spiraling is easy, but tapping back into that, like, okay, we have really high stakes right now in this project or this client work. We are really passionate. It might all seem like it's crazy right now, but just trusting, like, there are harder things, but
Yeah.
also we got what it takes, you know?
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to teach my son, I'm trying to teach him that lesson early. So I'll take him out for a run in the morning before school. And before we even start running, it's a fist bump. We say, we already got our win for the day because look at how many people are out here. Very few. Here we are. We got up, we got
Yes.
out here, we got our win for the day. So everything else is gravy.
Yes. Love that mindset. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Totally
cool.
agree.
Well, all right. So it's been a year. Been at MarketVision little over. Curious to know from your perspective as you look into the future of what market research looks like as somebody new to the field. What
Yes.
do you see? What do you see?
I see. hmm, I see. Well, it actually kind of ties back to how you and I initially met
Mhm.
pretty recently is in-person research. I know
Yeah.
that there's a
Hash,
lot of
hashtag face to face MRX. I have to do that. Okay. Anyway, go ahead, London.
yeah, right. I love it. Yeah, so I mean, I came into market research a year ago with everything being super advanced and virtual. I know it's only going to go up from here. We're going to continue to unlock things. So I've been pretty used to, school online, facilitating things online, just pretty comfortable and competent with, navigating technology. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't pretend to be perfect at it, but I want to learn, and I feel like I have a good foundation. But just seeing, going right into virtual research for the majority of my time at MarketVision has
Hmm.
taught me a lot of the possibilities and how many people we're able to reach, across the world, especially for
Sure.
these global projects. It's amazing. But there is something so special about in-person research. And I see you nodding your head. I mean,
Totally.
that's how we met. That is how I first like had a little taste of research before I started full time. And I'm like, man, this is so cool. But especially getting to have experience as a backroom analyst, support, just facilitator in general, I'm like, this is truly how relationships are built, right? Like
Hmm.
this is where the prime stuff happens. This is what separates qualitative from quantitative,
Yeah.
and just I don't know if I know what is exactly in the future, but I hope that there's a continued stress on making in-person research a priority if feasible,
Yeah.
for the company. Because us as researchers, we get so much out of it. The clients get to know us. They get to know research more, which absolutely builds their skills too,
Yeah.
and their, worldview in terms of like, okay, this is being reminded of what in-person research is like. But I just know it's not as common as it used to be, is what I've been told and kind of what I'm experiencing thus far. But I think there's something so special about that connection that you can make with the respondents in person and with the team. I'm interested to hear your thoughts too.
No, I honestly couldn't agree more. I've been around this industry for a long time. So there was a time when online focus groups didn't even exist. I remember when they came about, and a lot of people were foretelling the death of in-person focus groups and research. And that really hasn't happened. And I've seen it really come back in a strong way following the pandemic. There is sort of this craving for that in-person uh, you know interaction, like you said, not just with the consumer face to face, but also with clients. I mean, a lot of times people are working from home now. I work from home. Sometimes even clients at big companies work from home. And so this is the opportunity to really spend time with your clients, with your colleagues in the back room, really get to know each other and get beyond just the Zoom meetings. So
That's so
yeah,
true. And I hope that I can continue to get to be a part of in-person research. But I do just think there is something so special about live things, especially with my background in musical theater, the live
Yeah.
performing arts. And then what I'm currently doing now, like there's just nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Preaching to the choir. So that's good stuff.
yeah.
All right, so this is a podcast, right, London? You've spent all this time at home during COVID at school, and so we all consume tons of media. I'm curious to know. This is big, broad question. So, for insight, inspiration, enjoyment, what media is in your queue?
And can this be a place where I go, like physically, to,
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
well, I might sound like a broken record, no pun intended, but I do go to the theater.
Yeah.
I go to the live theater, whether that's a concert standing or a designated seat musical at our local theater at the Aronoff, where the Broadway tours come.
Very nice, Steve.
Whatever it is, high school productions, I just love it. I truly think that there is nothing like watching people on stage
Yeah.
share their passions, escape from their realities. The audience can escape from theirs as well, and everyone's just there together for 2 hours. And it doesn't, nothing really matters before or after. We're just here living the story, and it can be a fictional or a non-fictional story. But the
Yeah.
fact is that we have literally live, like living, breathing human beings
Yeah.
who are on stage pouring out their heart. It is moving, and there's truly nothing like it. And although my responsibilities, oh my gosh, my involvement has decreased, from where I thought it'd be, it doesn't matter. Like I still feel just as much of a part of it, and I hope to get back into community theater as the years kind of go by. But that is truly where I find my inspiration
Yeah.
is from others and hearing their stories and journeys. So if you haven't gone, if anyone's listening out there, if you haven't gone to see a live musical in a while, I'd say get tickets because it's pretty moving. So
Yeah, you know what? I just keep thinking our Venn diagram overlap keeps getting bigger and bigger.
oh my
We share
gosh.
we share a lot of things in common the way we think. So that's
That's
very cool.
awesome. That's
All right,
awesome.
well, you know what's coming. This is the big question. We always ask it on the Rock and Roll Research Podcast. It's the one I want to know. You haven't given me any inkling whatsoever so far as to what your answers might be. So let's say, London, you're stranded on a desert island. You have 3 records of your choosing to keep you company for the rest of your days. What are
Oh my gosh. So I have 3 songs. The first one is Astonishing. This is a song from the musical Little Women.
they?
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Key points here are it was my college audition song. It's extremely important to me.
Yeah.
It has that classic musical theater belt by Sutton Foster. She is a icon. She's a queen. But like it is the definition for me. Like this is musical theater, but the story behind it is someone who starts off with all these dreams and doesn't know really how they're going to play out, but she's currently, as the song goes on, starting to figure out, and just kind of at the end exclaims like, I'm gonna be astonishing, like I'll find my way, it's gonna happen.
Wow.
And there's so much passion behind that song. So
Yeah,
that's
sounds
number
very
one.
inspirational. Cool.
It is. And I'm always about that inspiration.
Yeah.
And then the second one is a total vibe change. It's called Just Like Honey by Jesus and the Mary Chain.
Oh yes.
No,
Yes.
yes,
Oh
let's
yeah,
go.
that's my generation. Come on, London.
I'm just literally no one has heard of it when I've talked to them. And so I love that you know it. And it's so clashy and it's so
Yeah.
unlike the perfectly constructed classical musical theater, but it's so intentional that way.
Yeah.
Like the chords clashing and all these random sounds happening at once. It
Hmm.
truly tells the story of love in general. Is not a one line, straight ahead. There are so many facets to it, and so I just see
Yeah.
see that as like a metaphor, and it also helps me connect to a loved one that I lost recently, who I miss every single day. Just nothing like listening to that song. So it's cool because it's not my style at all. No one would ever think I like it, but it's such a vibe. I love
That's
it.
one of
And
your choices.
then
Cool.
yeah, and then my final song is gosh, excuse me, Anytime slash Feeling That Way by Journey. Or I guess feeling that way, going right into Anytime.
Okay.
Song that I only sing background vocals on for the band I'm in, Real to Real.
Yeah.
And I love listening to our one of our lead guy singers who also plays the guitar on this song belt this out. I love singing with the other fellow singers and making the harmonies tight. And it's just it's just makes you want to dance. And I love Queen. God, why did I say Queen? It's Journey. It's Journey.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's Journey. And then I love how we go right into the next song, Anytime, and we have to modulate, and there's this note that I have to sing that does not make sense in the chord whatsoever. I just have to find it and hope that I sing the right one. But when it's there, we lock in, and it's just like music. It's just what I love about it. It's a universal language, and there's nothing like it. So.
Yeah, that's no joke. I mean, you can't fake Journey, so that's the real deal.
So good, so good. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Super cool, London. This has been a great chat. I'm so excited to be working with you. Actually, take inspiration from you. You're gonna light a fire under me.
Oh.
It's like, hey, I can still do this, man. I just gotta get to it. Yeah, I want to give one quick reminder. So I'm trying this Magic Mind here. And it has been really good for me. Check it out. I've been active and ready to roll in this podcast. So this mental performance shot's been working for me. So if you're interested in this, go to magicmind.com/rock and roll. Use code rock and roll 20 and get yourself a 48% discount on a subscription or a 20% discount on a one-time purchase. I'm going to keep using it because it's working for me. So awesome. London. I'm so excited for the next project that we work together on. I don't know what it is yet, but I can't wait. So
me either. Me either.
so we'll be talking soon, working together soon. So rock and roll.
Rock and roll.